To my colleague from the 27th District, I couldn't agree more with us getting together and talking about what incentives mean and how they're to be done, the long-term implications, the unintended consequences, et al. It harkens back to my very special time that my wife and I spent 13 years in Flint. All of those years I worked for General Motors at a division called AC Spark Plug. At the time I was there, it was 10,000 employees, 5 million square feet, and today it's a gravel parking lot. And at that time, AC Spark Plug made more different parts for more different cars than any other single company in the world across the globe. And today it's a gravel parking lot. And so there are unintended consequences of us not paying attention to how to drive incentives, how to make it attractive in Michigan to invest capital and stay here. And so for that, I concur with my good friend and the senator from the 27th District. But, Mr. President, I also want to address another issue. Yesterday, we passed a supplemental. Now, I believe that everyone deserves a second chance. And I rise today to urge our governor to take a second chance at what we have offered. The governor continues to make calls for bipartisanship to deal with this pandemic, for Republicans and Democrats to work together to tackle this virus, and in her State of the State address, in her press conferences, and across all of her media interviews. The legislature is doing our part and working together. Let me repeat that. The legislature is doing our part and working together. In fact, the budget bills we recently passed to assist schools and businesses in need of needed and received overwhelming bipartisan support. And what was our governor's response to this bipartisan relief effort? A veto, much of it with little or no explanation, but actions speak louder than words, and in this case, the veto pen speaks louder than words. Hundreds of millions of dollars to businesses to stay afloat, to stay in Michigan, to employ employees, to keep our economy rolling, to replenish the unemployment trust fund, to reopen schools safely, and to reimburse parents for the extra expenses that they endured while their kids had to stay home because the schools were locked down. Bipartisan funding struck down by a governor who has been pleading with us to work in a bipartisan manner. Unfortunately, since this plan wasn't the governor's plan, she decided to punish those who need it most, our businesses, our schools, and our communities. But everyone deserves a second chance, and the bills we passed yesterday for the second time gives one to our governor. And let me be clear, none of the funding we approved yesterday or the week before was tied to any other bill, either the first time we approved it or this second time. In other words, no enactment language, no tie bars. So I'm calling on our governor to correct that previous mistake, to do her part to help get our kids back to school and get the money to those who desperately need it. Thank you, Mr. President, and I ask that my remarks be recorded and adjourned.